And welcome back to Daily Wrap. Well, the death panel debate is gearing up again after Medicare rolls out new rules that would pay doctors to talk to their patients about advanced care planning. Those in favor of such planning argue it's an important conversation patients and doctors need to have, comparing it to a will that lays out exactly what a patient wants to happen should they fall ill, so there is less chaos for friends and family. Those opposed say these conversations are really just death panels being put in place to essentially get rid of elderly patients to cut costs. The 800-plus page document says reimbursements will begin in 2016. Okay, Rick, you're at death's door. What do you think about
that? Is not fair, Joe.
You put me up to it.
Such a joke. I would never. For folks who just tuned in,
my friends, right? My friends.
Pete texted me the joke before, so do the death's door thing.
Pete's looking to get in this seat. Let's be honest. Okay, let's just say.
Well, he's already there by Monday.
Look, of all the ridiculous things that happened during the great Obamacare debate, the death panel thing was by far the most insane. It was sponsored by a Republican member of the House along with a Democrat, and all it ever said, and what they're doing now, is that when you reach a certain age, which is 65, you should be able, if you want, no one's making you do it, they still aren't, if you want to have a conversation with your doctor to discuss what you want to have happen when you get so sick. You can't make those decisions for yourself. Now, you don't have to do it, and then all that happens then is Medicare agrees to pay for it, for that one doctor's session. Here's the upside, folks. Here's what you weren't thinking about when Sarah Palin was twisting your brain. You save so much money by doing that, because if you're ever in a situation where you are in that condition, you're going to leave it to your family to have to make decisions, and your family doesn't want you to go, even if you did want to go.
This is the most conservative idea I can think of in healthcare. It saves billions of dollars. Most of the money in Medicare is spent in what, the last few months?
The last one.
Right. So, I mean, it saves a lot of money. And find me any child who doesn't want their parent to have this conversation. And by the way, doctors should be paid for their time. Find me a doctor that opposes. I frankly don't understand the argument against it. And I don't know what it is.
It's insane. It's because Sarah Palin
I want to go further.
Headlines.
It's not just conservative fiscally. It's conservative if you're on the side of life. The tragedy is here, and I want to be clear, these are not death panels. These are life panels. And we have the science behind it. No, not even dignity. These are life panels. New York State actually conducted the most important study of people switching over to palliative and hospice care. They not only lived better, they lived longer.
And by the way,
these are life panels, and what we have to do
let's get rid of that.
It's consulting a
doctor.
There is
no panel involved.
And the fact of the matter is, getting people comfortable with availing themselves of all the range of health care options they have doesn't just save us money, which it does. It doesn't just raise our quality of life, which it does. If you are pro-life in any meaningful sense of the word, and in many of the senses, not all that it's used, many of them, I include myself in that camp, you should favor this process. It actually extends people's lives.
But it makes the conversation and the relationship so much easier between parents and their children, you know, which are often 50 or 60 years old. And I mean, it is a dignity issue. It absolutely is. How would you like to go out? My grandmother's 95. She just decided she wanted to do not resuscitate, DNR form. You know, and that's a hard thing to do. But I'm glad that she made the decision and not us. And finally, at your panel, can I be a pallbearer?
So Pete, here's the reason why taking it back to life is important.
No kid wants to have to make the decision to pull the plug on mom, and
listen,
that's all you're doing.
I've been there
but on dad, rip it out.
Depends on the father. Look, I've been with families through this process. And I think we do have to return to the notion of life affirming, because if we debate this on the facts, the emotions come in, and then that headlines from New York and that study, they lasted 24 hours, and the death panel people charged right back in. We've got to make this argument on the grounds. This is the single most significant affirmation of life we can make relative to medicine in the 21st century.
We should
tell people that death doesn't have to hurt. and life can be extended if you're willing to talk about the future with your
Well, I'm glad we
physician.
had a broad range of opinion on that issue.
Yeah. The only reason we have to have this conversation is because of Sarah Palin and our friend Betsy McCoy, who convinced people that this death panel thing was real. It was unbelievably disgusting.
To kill the larger law.
And spend tons of money. It's shameful. The fact that we have to talk about it right now is outrageous. This is a no-brainer.
I remember the imagery of, you see like this panel, like the Politburo, in the old Soviet Union, and they say,
Concha dies.
right, 84 has a thyroid problem, done,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you're done. And really, people
the
believed
people
it.
who peddled
And it-
this fear
And the amazing
killed
thing,
other people.
the amazing thing, the average senator is 147 years old. What were they going to do? Pass this law with a death panel so they'd get killed?
Were there any doctors against it? I mean, I'd love to find those guys.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
women.
Okay, well, that's the end of that conversation pretty much forever. So, what do you think about advanced care
We killed it?
planning? Very well done. Is it a death panel, or is it just planning ahead? Go to newsmaxtv.com/comments, share your opinions. More after the break. This is the Daily Wrap. Do not go anywhere.